What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shonen Showdown. I'm your host, Rob, and sitting to the right of me is...
Jarrod, JoJo enthusiast and employee of the Speedwagon Foundation. Come to meet all your needs.
This guy. All right, today we're going to be talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We want to start diving into which JoJo was the most dominant within their respective series. We have seen all the JoJos put in a lot of work. We've seen them do incredible feats, but we want to know which one was the most dominant within their respective part. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, Jarrod, we are back. Let us know who you think is the most dominant JoJo within the respective series.
I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this. I feel like there's been a lot of slander of this particular JoJo, if I must say. But I must, out of all of them, and they're all great, but I have to give it to my man Joseph. Okay. Joestar.
You're a madman, but listen, I'll let you elaborate on why you think it is Joseph, because there's a lot of people you just disrespected. But go on.
What? They called me a madman, but I have to say, Joseph, this man was doing it before he even knew about stands. Premium Hamon user. Learned it maybe 2-3 episodes in in no time. He went on to fight cars. He went on to defeat Strider also. And he dealt with the Pillar Man at the same time too. I don't see any other JoJo without their power of their stands doing any of that. No offense to the JoJo, they're all great in their respective rights, all done big things, but Joseph, he's the only one that really thought quick on his feet, always quick-witted, always innovative. This man had 2 balls on a string as weapons.
Yes. But to say the only one that was thinking quick on his feet is just sacrilegious to the rest of the JoJo fandom right now. The JoJo community right now. You are what? The most dominant. Listen, I like Joseph. He definitely is the funniest out of all of them.
That's another.
I will give him that if that's what we want to talk about. But this argument is not who makes you laugh the most. This is who's the most dominant, and the answer is none other than Jotaro Kujo. He is a complete beast. Let's talk. I'm not even gonna get into his Star Platinum stand. I don't even want to talk about that. It's crazy. We all know it can stop time. But I want to talk about how he literally is the embodiment of the word leadership. He actually has his own team, right? And he led them whatever battle he got into. Even when he was playing cards against Darby. I mean, come on. He was betting Abdo's soul. He was betting Kakuyin's soul. He bet his own mother's soul, and he was able to still win that match. He is just unbelievable. We see. I have never seen any of the JoJos, right, be dependent on doing the finishing blow, right? Anytime you're seeing any other JoJo, you're seeing maybe, even if you're looking at Giorno, for instance, right? Giorno had a lot of help with Mista. He had a lot of help with Abakio, all that stuff like that. Bucciarati was the one that was really leading the group, as we all know. And even when you're looking at Giorno from that perspective, I do think Giorno probably, you can make a case that he is the strongest because of the Requiem. But
that does change things a little bit.
But he was. I don't think he was the most dominant. I mean, he didn't even have really control over the group. You're looking at Abakio. Abakio's basically telling him off all the time. They treat him like the rookie, and I guess he is the rookie in that regard. But he didn't really have control of the situation. When you're talking about Jotaro was 17 years old. He was a man amongst boys. It felt like. I mean, he was literally running the entire operation, right? And everyone was looking at him for an answer. They looked to him to land the finishing blows on any opponents they faced. They looked to Jotaro to make big time decisions. This is something where it's like he's 17 and he's fighting Dio. He's landing the finishing blows on Dio. Like, everything we're looking at from that perspective, I gotta give it to Jotaro. I feel like Jotaro was just unstoppable, and his Star Platinum is just, you can't really touch it.
In terms of stand power, I understand. Like I said before, no disrespect to any of the JoJos or JoJos. Jotaro himself.
Any of the Jotaros, that's a good way to put it.
Good way. But JoJo himself, Joseph, the second JoJo, he showed us that when you have cars who just use the mask, had the redstone of Ajax, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but he just unlocked ultimate being. He's one being. He's turned himself into a bird. He has all the capabilities, all species on the earth.
Right.
And we have Joseph, just what was he? Maybe 20 at the time, around there, and he's set on to do this task with nothing but hammer on his wrist, in his tool belt. He used hammer on cars, and cars use it on Joseph himself. And Joseph was starting to melt himself. And put in that corner, what did he do? He used the things that was around him. He got this man on a volcano and shot him all the way up into the sky. Right. Like I'm saying, without stand powers, just flat on, just man to man, Joseph is my man anytime. Anytime in a terrible situation, I need someone quick with it, who's gonna do something innovative. He's the MacGyver of the JoJos, if I might say. If I need him to do something right now with a toothpick and a pencil, he'll do it.
And you're saying Jotaro won't? First of all, let me ask you this: what is Cars to a Dio in Part 3?
An ultimate being.
What is Cars to? So you mean to tell me that if Dio was matched up, and I know we're getting into a battle of Hamon versus Stans right now, but if you want to talk about Dio in Part 3, who can stop time?
Yes.
Whose stand is literally almost a replica of Jotaro's Star Platinum.
Yes.
We understand this, right?
Yeah, no, I'm totally here.
Right? And we also understand that Joseph, even though he was in his older age, he was basically rendered useless in Part 3. He was kind of like that, that old timer that was, guiding them.
Stand power. Well,
he had a stand, Hermit Purple.
Hermit Purple, which
what?
We gonna compare it to the other stands out there?
I'm not gonna compare it to the other stands. But what I'm gonna say is he was rendered useless. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't. Yes. It was past his time, right?
Past his time. That's what he led on Jotaro to lead him to what he's.
But Dio, on the other hand, Part 3 Dio is eons above Cars.
One question: who is still alive? Cars or Dio? Cars is still alive to this day. An invincible being was defeated. Invincible being. He's still floating around in space right now. Because Joseph found the only way to take care of the situation at the time.
Do you realize that the people that Jotaro had to go through? Jotaro and his team had to go through crazy. I mean, you're talking about Vanilla Ice, Whole Horse, Darby. I mean, Dio who took out Kakuin. I mean, what are we talking about here? I'm not saying. Listen,
are we gonna knock the?
I think Joseph is top tier. He's very, like you said, he is very quick on his feet. He does think very fast. But when we're looking at it from Jotaro's perspective, Jotaro was never really even put in a position where he even looked compromised. Like, Jotaro was just so listen, when you're watching Joseph put in work, right? There's times where you thought to yourself, man, I really don't know if Joseph is gonna make it out of this. I have never watched Jotaro enter a battle and think, all right, it's a wrap. Or even make him look, even when he was getting beat up, he still had a confident look in his face. And Avdol is depending on him. Kakuyin's depending on him. Polnareff is depending on him. I mean, my goodness, even his own Joseph, who's, his older relatives are depending on him, on a 17-year-old boy, because he is a complete beast. His Star Platinum, the precision is ridiculous. I mean, no matter what it is, whether he's playing cards, whether he's fighting 1v1. I don't think about any 1v1s that all the other JoJos had to deal with. I don't think Jotaro was ever in a position where you ever question him winning a 1v1. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't. No. I can't say. Right? No. Right? No. But there were situations with Joseph I could talk about. There are situations with Giorno I could talk about. Josuke I could talk about. He got out of them.
Joseph got out of them. Even if he's maybe scathed, doesn't matter. He got to the point. We're talking about someone who's not breaking under pressure. Who's like, he may be at a point where his odds are against him, but that just gives him motivation to go on and do more, Step above himself, step above his own limits, if you would. This is not a competition to see who's more like hard-boiled, who doesn't like show fear in his face. We didn't come here to discuss that. We came here to discuss.
That is a characteristic of dominance, right? And that's what Jotaro is. Jotaro is the most dominant.
To put on
he
the
is
show.
the most dominant. But you guys definitely let us know down in the comment section below who you think is the most dominant JoJo within their respective series. And with that, signing out.